2. Welcome back to your Life of Tone channel with your boy Tone. I came to rob your house. Before I get into it, man, AGT, you know you're rocking. I came to rob your house. Came to rob your house. I got my shiesty on. And now you're rocking. Came to rob your house. I'm going to play no games with y'all. Came to rob your house. Period. You've come to rob your home, all your early Christmas gifts, all of your valuables. And today we came to rob you for Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Sorry, no. What's up with y'all, man? Welcome back to the Life of Tone channel. It's your boy Tone. We're back on our video. If I get to already God for God's right now, God's open doors. And pay with all you want people in G on increments. Today's video, we're back with another anime talk Q&A. And today we'll talk about the history of the Yu-Gi-Oh series and also the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. Not really the card game, but more just the series. That's what we're gonna wrap about today. I'm sorry about the lack of anime talks. Rico and I have been both very, very busy with life, so I do apologize about that. But we're back, man. Welcome back. I appreciate you guys pulling up. You're watching these streams. When you do come to pull up, yeah, man, we're here to wrap about. We're here to wrap tonight. So, hope you guys are ready to talk some anime. We talk other shows too in the comment section if you like. I don't mind talking other shows. We talk about the topic at hand. But yeah, man. Let's get right into it. So I'm only gonna talk the eras that I know personally and shows I've watched personally. If I had not watched the show myself, I won't talk about it just out of respect. Because if I don't know about the show, I don't want to be like, oh, this happened, and nothing happened. So the 6 shows that I know of, there's 8 shows now, but there's 6 that I know of. And the 7th show, I watched a little bit of it. I think it's absolute dog crap. So I didn't watch it. But the 6 that I know of are the original Duel Monster series, GX, 5Ds. I didn't watch Zexal, so that's only 5 shows I watched. But I know about Zexal because I read the manga. So Zexal, Arc 5, and Reigns. So those are the 6 eras that I know of personally. The other one's Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. That one's kind of like a weird show. And they do like rush duels, something like that. It's weird. I don't know. Don't ask me questions about that. Watch Yu-Gi-Oh! 7 for yourself. I don't know. So don't ask me questions. I don't know. And also the new ones like Rush Duel, something. Don't ask. I don't know. Don't know. Don't know. I stopped at Reigns. I don't know. So you want to watch those 2 series yourself? I might watch the newer series myself from the beginning just to kind of get an idea of where I'm coming from or where the show's coming from. But as of right now, I don't know anything about it, so I don't want to lie to you guys. Say I know something that I don't. So don't want to tell fibs on the channel. I want to go ahead and just give you what I know. So the 6 protagonists that I know of are Yugi, Jaden, Yusei. Also, Duel Monsters, of course, is Yugimoto. I think we all know that. You were born in anything beyond 1996, you know about Yugimoto. We're not going to explain that. So Yugi, Jaden, Yusei, Yuma, that's from Zexal, Yugi Sakaki, that is from Arc 5, and then Yusaku Fujiki, that's from Frank. So those are the 6 protagonists that I know of. I want to go ahead and react to a video that I saw from a guy named TPS Anime. I want to rewatch it with you guys because he went into a much more in-depth thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonist. Now, I kind of want to watch that. So search that real quick. All right. I can't find it. There we go. I did find it. Excellent. So this is from 4 years ago. So I say this is to where I start watching the series in general. So we can go ahead and watch this real quick. And we can
conclusion of the 6th series of Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Reigns, and the main character in that series, Yusaku Fujiki, going, undefeated throughout the entire series, if you don't count flashback duels of when he was a kid. We'll talk about that a bit later. This got me thinking, who actually is the best main character in Yu-Gi-Oh! In terms of their dueling ability? And as soon as I thought of this question, I realized that nobody really wants to know the answer to this because everyone's going to be annoyed no matter who I say. If I said Yugi is the best, people will get annoyed. If I says Yuma's the worst, for example, people will get annoyed by that. So how do I make a video without annoying everyone and throwing in my personal favoritisms, my biases into the mix? Why? There's an easy answer to that. We use maths. Yes, in today's video, we're going to be looking at each one of the main characters. We're going to be going through how many duels they've had throughout the entirety of their anime appearances, as well as how many wins they had throughout all of this, how many losses, how many draws, how many DNFs. Then we're going to convert that data into a win percentage, and to make it fair, because some duelists are probably going to have more DNFs than others.
I want to kind of elaborate on that. So he said DNF, that means he did not finish. So if that match never concluded, it doesn't count. So just like DNFs. That's what DNF stands for. But actually, let's get to. There we go. Let's skip a little bit here.
Just mirroring that kind of thing. So
Yugi had 50 duels.
Yeah, it should be counted as a win, I guess, because he lost on purpose. But he lost on purpose, so it's still an L. This would go on his record. This one isn't.
So I didn't think when I first watched
an L, but it was a DNF, and it was against Joey Wheeler. This was at the end of Battle City. This is where Joey and Yugi were going to duel, so that Joey could get his red eyes back. We never saw the conclusion to this episode, but Joey did get his red eyes after this. So you could make a case that, well, Joey beat Yugi. That's the only way he could get his red eyes back. Then you could make a case saying, well, maybe he lost. Yugi still gave him the red eyes. It's a bit up in the air, but yeah, it's a DNF.
It's a DNF. So I didn't know Yugi lost 7 times. I didn't know that. That's interesting to know.
The DNF. This is the one that people always bring up as the proper L against Raphael during the Rivalry Calcos. Of course, this is a filler arc, but it doesn't really matter. The Pharaoh lost, in my opinion, fair and square. People will say that the Rivalry Calcos influence affected Yugi's judgment. He might have been able to win, but he just felt like the only way he could win was by playing the Rivalry Calcos. To me, this is a legit loss, and well, I'm not going to change any of these results anyway, but still. We had another DNF where Jaden played against Yugi. We didn't see the climax of this duel, but it looked like Yugi was going to win this. So it's a shame we never got the conclusion to that. That would have been quite good. Of course, Yugi lost to...
That one was the NFGX, and basically Yugi had Jaden in a way that Jaden just couldn't play. And Jaden just threw the duel, but honestly, we all knew Yugi won that one, so him putting it in a DNF, I think it's unfair, but that's fine.
Yami lost to Yugi, so that still counts as a win and a loss, I guess. Something along them lines.
Yeah, we're doing
but let's just jump back into it. We've got wins 38, losses 7.
How do you count a duel against your alter ego? That's weird. That's fine. Let's just skip the Jade Yugi. Let's skip the Jade.
7 losses,
Dang,
3 draws, and he had 10 DNFs.
What the
which is
bro?
Incredible score.
That's dang, bro. 100? That's a lot. That's a lot of duels, man. Yeah, dang. All right, so we're going to skip Jaden. What did you say? But this is the main character from 5D. So this is the 3rd series of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise.
He played a total of 62 duels. Out of those 62 duels, he had a whopping 50 wins, only 1 loss, never drew a single duel, but he did have 11 DNFs. And the only DNF I really want to talk about, just before we jump onto Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, is Callan Kessler's duel. He was going to lose that duel.
So in he fell off episode, I think that was 39 in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, Yusei faced his old friend that was a dark signer, if you know about the show. And Callum was about to beat Yusei, but his duel runner / D-wheel breaks at the end of the duel. So the duel concludes with his bite broken, his leg broken, and his shoulder broke. It was bad. My man Yusei was in the hospital for like a month. It was bad. So yeah.
His bike, so the duel was like void. To me, that was a loss because he had no cards that could have saved his.
Yeah, he had nothing that could stop anything. He lost. Like he lost for sure, but it just it just didn't.
Question.
He lost.
What is the best e-commerce business to start today? Is it drop shipping from China and selling on Shopify?
That was a loss. It's counted as DNF, so I can't give him a loss, but still. There was also, I want to quickly mention that in the Crash Town episode, he did a 3 against 1. In situations throughout this where one duelist is playing against 2 or 3.
Oh, yeah, the Crash Town thing. So he beat 5. He beat like 3 dudes at one time. He destroyed all 3 of them like in one turn. It was kind of stupid.
I'm going to count those. So it's like 3
we'll
wins,
get to Yuma.
3 losses, which is the only one of the main characters to break double digits in losses, which is 33 losses. He had 1 draw and 9 DNFs. So this gives him a 61.18% of DNFs, giving him a total of...
Yuma is from Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexu. That's the Exceeds show, which does Exceed summoning. That's the 4th series of Yu-Gi-Oh! The Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise. I didn't watch Zexu myself, so I really don't know. But I know Yuma sucked. That's all I know. So
of a 91.49% win ratio, which is really good. Yuya had a lot of multi-duels. He had a Yuya versus 4 people.
Yuya
versus 3 people, so I took those into consideration. That's a really good score. Above 90%. Well done. Finally, the most recent series, we have Yu-Gi-Oh!
Brain. Were the Jack Atlas, which was like the 5Ds co-protagonist along with Yusei. He was like basically like reincarnated in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 series. He plays Jack into like a similar tournament in the 5Ds era, which is known as the Friendship Cup. And Yuya got obliterated and destroyed. Came back and beat Jack later though. So that's his one like true loss I know.
Fujiki.
I have 3 reasons why I cannot and will not be defeated.
He only played 32 duels throughout his entire series.
Given he only played 32 duels, but that's because the series is like 110 episodes. So let's just kind of put that into perspective.
It feels so little as a little kid. They were all losses. It was against like a dueling robot or stuff.
Yeah, as a throwback,
This is where you can make a case
flashback.
They shouldn't count flashbacks because they're still a kid. They're not like in their professional career. But regardless, I'm counting them as L's. He also had 2 draws against Revolver and 1 draw against Bowman. I just thought I'd throw that out there. So overall, he had an 89.66% win ratio, just squeaking away from that 90%.
That's pretty good.
As a statistic, this is just how much these characters are throwing themselves out there. They're willing to risk their win-loss ratio by continuously dueling, and I think that's something to be respected. Out of all of the total duels a character had, Jaden Yuki is in first place with 100. Yuma Tsukumo is in second with 95. Yusei Fudo is in third with 62. Yuya Sakaki is in 4th with 60. Yugimoto is in 5th with 50. And Yusaku Fujiki is in 6th with 32. So of all those duels, we take their wins, we take their losses, and we find out their win percentage. So it's just what I'm reading. So for this next leaderboard, I've assigned points to wins, losses, and draws. A win is worth 3 points. A draw is Yuma Tsukumo. People might get annoyed.
So this is facts. Yeah. So Yusei was number 1 in win rate. Yusei barely lost in 5Ds. Like, Yusei was just the nuts, just broken. Jaden, this makes sense because he dueled 100 times. Like, that's a pretty high win rate, 91% out of 100 duels. It's a lot of dueling, man. Same here with Yuya. Like, Yuya, I think dueled like 56 duels or something. Yusaku, no surprises. All his losses were like him as a kid, so that's fine. Yugi, I thought would be a little higher. Honestly, I thought his win rate would be a little higher than 84%. But he did have 7 losses. That makes sense. And Yuma, that's not surprising.
Annoyed by the fact that Yugi is so low, but 143 points is Jaden Yuki. Wow. In second place is Yuma Tsukumo with 157 points. In third place is Yusei Fudo with 150 points. In 4th is Yuya Sakaki with 130. In 5th is Yugimoto with 115. And in last place is Yusaku Fujiki with 81 points. Now, observant people will notice that these rankings are in the exact same order as the total amount of duels. However, for people like Yuya, Yugi, and Yusei, there's only like a couple duels in between them. So had they performed just a little bit better, they could have squeaked up in the ranks. So I think this is fair. It's just a coincidence that they happen to all be in the same place. But for someone like Jaden with so many duels, I mean, Yuma only had 5 less duels. He just didn't do as well. So it makes sense. So just before we jump into the final total of what I think should determine who is the best overall duelist out of all the main characters, and so on. So in last place and the least best Yu-Gi-Oh! Main character is Yusaku Fujiki.
Wow!
With 8 points. In 5th place is Yugimoto with 9 points. In fourth place is Yu Sakaki with 14 points. The bronze with third place is Yuma Tsukumo with 18. In silver, second is Yusei Fudo with 22. And at number 1 with the gold is Jaden Yuki with 28 points. Now, honestly, when I went into this video, these are not the results that I was expecting by any stretch of the imagination. I would never have thought Jaden would be at number 1 for nearly everything. Jaden, total amount of duels, number 1. Duel score, number 1. Win percentage, number 2. But yeah, he does quite well. He's actually a really good duelist. He might not be the most serious. Yusei Fudo didn't actually have that many duels, really. He had 62 duels. He came third in that one. Yusei also came third in the duel score. However, Yusei was the number 1 in win percentage with 98. He's so close. He was 6 points off of getting the number 1 position. Yusei could be argued is one of the best characters, and I'm glad that he's second. The third place with Yuma Tsukumo, I didn't expect that one. I don't know how I feel about that as well. He has an abysmal, he has the worst win percentage. But what he does make up for in his win percentage is just the amount of duels he has. He had 95 duels, and if you tally up all the points he's had, my argument for Yuma being third and the fact that he's getting so high up just because of the amount of duels is he's willing to put himself out there. If someone had one duel and
just one, that's it. Yeah, I can feel that. So I just wanted to just get out of the different protagonists that were in the show and his rankings. But let's get back to the actual history of the show. So, you already know Duel Monsters Yu-Gi-Oh! That show had about 224 episodes in it. Longest Yu-Gi-Oh! Series by far of all of them, by far. 5 seasons. One season was complete filler. I don't like filler, so I won't talk about filler. So you guys already know the story. He solved the Millennium Puzzle. He basically has a pharaoh in his mind and his body. His body basically into 2 entities. And whenever he duels, he turns into this pharaoh guy and destroys everybody and just saves the world from the shadow games. Basically, that's basically where I went. When everybody said you get sent to the shadow realm, that came from the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. Now GX, they go to a school called Duel Academy. Jaden Yuki's being the main character. His best friend Cyrus Truesdale, his older brother Zane. All of them go to Duel Academy, basically learning how to duel, how to be better at dueling, and things of that nature. One of the popular teachers is Dr. Crowler. He has a PhD in dueling, unquote. And Jaden beat him in the first episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, which I think was pretty cool. And Jaden became a star after that, beating guys like Chaz Preston, beating Zane Truesdale. Eventually, he tied Zane in the graduation match. Beat guys like Viper in the third season. Saving the world from Sartorius and the Light of Destruction. There's actually a Yu-Gi-Oh! Core set called Light of Destruction. So that's like something that you want to look that up and go ahead and do your research on that. I did that as well. And then the last season was not canon. Well, last season was actually canon, but it wasn't dubbed. So basically, him and his childhood card that he made called Yu-Bell basically fused together with super polymerization and became like this like one entity in one person. So basically in the first season, he plays with Elements of Heroes. After that, the next season, he plays with Neospatians, who are like these space creatures that came from outer space. Like dual spirits that talk to him, stuff like that. And then at the end of the original series, he fused with Yu-Bell. So he basically has the Neospatians as his spirit friends and also Yu-Bell as his like alter ego type of thing. 5Ds is with Yusei Fudo. So they're like it's like 10 years later after GX, I want to say. About 10 years later, maybe 5-10 years later, something like that. But they're in New Domino City. So this is like a much more modern version of Domino City from the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. And you say basically the New Domino City got broken into 2 sections, the Satellite Sector and New Domino City. New Domino City is the people that are rich, have all this money, and then Satellite is where all the poor people are. You say it was born in New Domino City, but during the separation of the Satellite and New Domino City, it was like an explosion in which like a reactor, like an energy reactor, exploded, separate the city into 2 different parts. And unfortunately, Yusei had to be shipped to the Satellite Sector because his dad died. So that's how that happened. He meets his friends Jack and Crow. Jack, Crow, and Callan, the guy that tried to destroy him later on in the show. But none of my business. But yeah, Yusei Jack, and Crow and Callan all become friends. They all hang out together, things of that nature. Eventually, Jack turns on Yusei to become a pro duelist. He takes his favorite card and his dual runner or D wheel. They ride on more. This show where card games with motorcycles came from. That me. So he took his motorcycle and took his favorite card, went to New Domino City, became the super pro duelist, and then basically turned on Yusei and just became a total a-hole. That's where the series starts at. Yusei trying to get Stars Dragon back from Jack. Goes to New Domino City. They duel each other. Da da da. He gets locked up into the facility because people from Satellite Sector cannot go to New Domino City. That's absolute law. They cannot do that. So when he got locked up, things of that nature, got out of jail, all that stuff. And then they played this thing called a Fortune Cup. Basically, the Fortune Cup was a way to find out who can save the world from the dark signers, unquote. So it was Yusei, Jack, of course, a little girl named Luna, this girl named Akiza, and then the fifth signer was never known. You'll find who the fifth signers who watch the show. They fight the dark signers in the next season. After that, they save the world from these evil fools, which one of them was like the director of the city's like brother, and the other guy was like one of Yusei's dad's best friends. So there's like kind of treachery, a lot of treachery going on in this show, a lot of backstabbing in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D, if you want to say it myself. But eventually they get to a point where toward the end of the series, they had this thing called the Art Cradle. And this was like, I don't think this was aired in English. No. So this is all sub. So like this Art Cradle thing is coming down the city. If they don't stop this thing from coming down from the sky, the whole city gets crushed. So Yusei and all the other signers saved them from that. And that's pretty much the end of the show. Then you have Zexal. I don't know anything about Zexal. And then Arc 5 is very complicated. You can watch it yourself. I don't have the mental capacity to explain all of the different personalities and all that crap and Zark and all that type of stuff. And then Yu-Gi-Oh! Reigns is basically way, way, way into the future. They go into this virtual reality to go play the card game and all that. And the main character is Yusaku. So they do everything through AI. So everything's like AI, everything is AI. Like it's super tech. They don't even have actual cards. They have like a digital display of the cards. So it's like way different. It's pretty dope though. Not gonna lie to you. It's actually pretty cool. But Yusaku basically, that one's super hard to explain too because it's a lot of backstory lines, things of that nature going on in that show. If you want to watch that, you can watch it on your own time. But I think Vrain's one of my favorite shows because they had a lot of backstory about all the characters. Like, it's Yusaku, which is known as Playmaker. You have a Soul Burner, which is one of his best friends on the show. A Revolver is one of their biggest enemies. Actually, Revolver's deck's actually relevant in today's game, actually, which is kind of funny. Those are the main three characters. But they all have Ignises. So they're like AI things that come out your dual disc. That's actually kind of cool, but it's also kind of weird too, like super weird. But all the Ignises are like enemies of each other in a way. The light Ignis and you win one of them like any other ones. So trying to get rid of them. And then there's a guy named Bowman that wants to combine all of them into one like entity. Like he wants to unite all the Ignises into one entity. So he's trying to capture all of them himself. So that's how the series kind of got to a point at that point. And then the Ignis that was in Yusaku's dual disc, which is the dark one, he just called him I for short, AI. We just call him I. I becomes Yusaku's last enemy in the last show. Basically, he makes up a human version of himself and goes against Yusaku because he thought that he was responsible for all of his brother and sister Ignises dying in the last season of the show that they were friends in. So he turns on Yusaku. They go at it eventually. Yusaku doesn't want to hurt I, but he has to save the world from a bunch of copies of I being ran around the city and destroying everything. So he has to save the world from that in order to be I in the duel. He does that. That's the end of the show. After Reigns, I don't know anything. Don't ask me questions. But that's pretty much kind of a super summary of all the shows. I'll say I Arc 5 is something you got to watch on your own because it's very complex and a lot of backstories. But if I were to rank the series from 1 to 6 myself, number 6 for me would be Zaxel. I think Zaxel's absolute crap. I don't like the show. I watched like 3 episodes and I just turned it off, so I'm not a big fan. To say at least. Number 5 for me, that's kind of tough. Number 5 is pretty tough. I can't lie to you. I guess Arc 5 would be number 5. That one's okay. I had like I said a lot of backstory stuff like that, and they really get into every one of the characters like backstories of their lives and why they're at where they're at today. I think that's pretty cool. They brought back some 5D's characters into the show, like Crow Hogan and also Jack Atlas, which was from the Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D series. But that's one thing I really liked about it. I liked like 1.5 seasons, and that was pretty much about it. Number 4, I guess probably Process of Elimination. It would, yeah, Zaxel, Arc 5. Zaxel, Arc 5. Yes, Reigns would be number 4 by Process of Elimination. I like the show a lot though. I think so it's not a bad show because I have it 4th, but it's a show that doesn't top the top 3. Number 3 for me is GX. Jaden was super interesting. A little too happy-go-lucky for me at times, but at one point Jaden turned to the Supreme King guy, who's like the opposite of what he usually is, which is happy-go-lucky, super happy, super jubilant, very positive mindset type of guy, to very negative, very dark, sinister, even evil, even, and really changed Jaden for kind of the worst, but also it really gave him a different perspective on life and how to kind of stay positive through adversity and things of that nature. So that was a very interesting turn of events during the show. All the support characters were very fun to watch. So that would be number 3 for me. Number 2 is 5Ds because Yusei is my favorite protagonist of all the series besides Yugi Moto. So it'd be Yugi, then Yusei, then everyone else. So complete bias here. I love Yusei and I love the show 5Ds myself. I rewatched the series several times, so that can just tell me I like the show. Number 1 is the original Yu-Gi-Oh series. You can't have without this one, none of the other ones exist. So gotta get the OG some respect. Shout out to Yugi. But that's actually gonna be pretty much tonight's episode on that show. I didn't have Rico on only because I'm much more familiar with these topics than Rico was, and I just wanted to just chop it up with you guys for about 30 minutes. A little under the weather right now too, so don't mind me. I'm not 100% right now, so it's kind of hard for me to record videos and keep bringing out content. But I'm back with the anime talks. I will have Rico back only in 2 weeks. So that'll be the next episode. I think that will be on December. I'm trying to see. 29th. That'll be December 13th. So that'll be the next episode, December 13th. And then the last one will be December 27th for the year, and then we'll start brand new in 2024, more episodes of things of that nature. We'll do like our top 5 anime of 2023. Things we're looking for 2024, stuff like that. So that'll be the last episode of the year. But that's gonna do it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe to the Life of Tone channel if you haven't done so. Subscribe to the main channel, which we always talk about these guys right here, the Washington Commanders, as well as other NFL topics. You want to go subscribe to that. That's also the PSN Commanders Network. You want to go subscribe to that as well. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you want a much more in-depth video about the Yu-Gi-Oh series, different Yu-Gi-Oh series that are currently out, from Duel Monsters all the way to today, I'll try to get someone on that's very much more expert than myself. So I'll try to do that. If you want a part 2 of this, cool. If not, no big deal. But it's something I just want to talk about kind of as a very in my era of life is a very popular anime. Everyone watched the Yu-Gi-Oh series, at least the original anyway. I don't know if people went to GX and 5Ds and all that stuff like I did myself, but at least the original Yu-Gi-Oh series will have to be something that everyone watched as we were kids. I don't care who you were. All right. If you were into any type of anime, you watched the original Yu-Gi-Oh series. That's bullcrap. Like I said, before I get out of here, my favorite protagonist is Yusei Fudo. Oh, I said Yugi Moto, but It's Yugi, and then my favorite era is 5Ds. I said the original is the original. You cannot go wrong with the original Yu-Gi-Oh. You cannot argue with that. But 5D is my favorite era because of this. It's the synchro era. I played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh back then, a ton of Yu-Gi-Oh like competitively, locals, and regionals, things of that nature. And my one regional top came from that event, so came from that era. So that has a very special place in my heart when it comes to playing the game at that time and also watching the series. So yeah, definitely 5D is my favorite era for competitive play reasons and because of competitive reasons and because of the show itself. So that's gonna do it for me. Like, comment, subscribe, comment your thoughts. Have a great night, guys. Be easy, be safe, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.